Hi everyone, we are excited to have you here in today's fun-filled learning session at Uolo. Here is a quick look at how you can submit your work after the class. As a first step, go to live.uolo.com. You can use any browser to access this site. On this page, you will see a list of all our classes. Scroll down and you can see the Submit Your Work button. And then you will see a list of the classes that you've last attended, which could, for example, show the dance or craft or science experiment classes you've attended recently. Next, it will show you the list of children whose names are registered in this mobile number. Choose your name from this list to submit your work. For instance, if you are Satvik Kumar, choose that name. And then choose the class for which you would like to make your submission. For example, if you've attended the New Year's Masquerade Party session and you'd like to make the submission for this class, click on the Submit Your Work button below that. And then upload the photo you've taken. Choose the image from your phone and click Submit. You can scroll down and view all your past submissions and see how many of your friends or peers have liked your work. You can also see others' work and like their work to inspire your friends. If you want to showcase your work on social media, that too is very simple. Click on Share, copy the link, and post it on Instagram or Facebook or any other platform of your choice. Just a tiny reminder, your submission looks a lot better if you could click a photo in the landscape mode rather than the portrait mode. Do not forget to tag us at YOLO_app. I'm eagerly looking forward to all your submissions right after this class.
Hey there, kids. How are you doing? Welcome to today's class. Today is going to be the last class of our sketching course that we have going on. And though on one side, I am really, really glad that you've gone ahead and learned so much and you've gone ahead and achieved so much in these 8 classes that we've had. I'm also a little sad to be coming to the end of this course. Now, before we actually go ahead and start talking about everything that we're going to go ahead and do in today's class, let's go ahead and discuss a little bit about the certificate program as well as a little bit about your submission. Now, the first thing about your certificate program, now, like you all know, you're getting certificates for the work that you've already going ahead and doing. Just a couple of pointers to keep in mind. Firstly, don't go ahead and miss any of the classes of any particular course. Now, the reason being is because we don't want to go ahead and give you a certificate knowing that you've not gone ahead and attended all the classes and knowing that you've not gone ahead and probably developed the skill that we want you to go ahead and develop. So always make sure you're attending all of the classes. It will make a huge difference, in terms of what you're learning and in terms of your significance in general. Now, apart from that, the second point that I always want to go ahead and make is to never miss your submissions. If you don't go ahead and do your submission again, we won't have sort of like a record of the work that you've gone ahead and done. And it's very important for us to have sort of like a record to do so. Apart from that, I also want to go ahead and instill the concept of actually doing your submissions. Always make sure to go ahead and have that little bit of a responsibility of doing your work at the end of the day. Now, what is the significance of a certificate? The certificate can be very, very useful later on in the future. You can go ahead and show it to your teachers. You can go ahead and show it to your colleagues. You can go ahead and show it to your friends. You can go ahead and show it to anybody who asks you where your skills lie. So always having something to provide later on in the future that these are the things that you know how to do will make a huge difference. So always go ahead and have and collect as many certificates as you can. Now, apart from that, I want to talk to you about the submissions in general. Now, though you know that if you get selected as part of the top 10, you will go ahead and be showcased on our website. But apart from that, I want you to go ahead and do your submission irrespective. If you've had a bad day and you've not done such a good job, probably you've not gone ahead and had the right mood to do it that day, whatever the reason may be. Maybe you didn't understand the concept that well. Whatever the reason may be, always make sure to go ahead and do your submission. Now, the reason why I am very, very important, like persistent when it comes to the submission, is basically because I as a teacher want to go ahead and see the progress that you are making. So for example, let's take the sketching classes itself. If you've gone ahead and attended the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh and eighth class, but you've not gone ahead and done submissions for all eight, then what will happen is I won't be able to see you alongside me as to how you've gone ahead and done the first class, second class, third class. I won't really know how well you're developing, and I won't really know how well you're going ahead and doing. So always make sure to go ahead and work in a certain manner which can give you improvement. So always hence make your submissions important. Always make the concept of getting feedback important. Always work around those lines. So here we're giving you a chance to go ahead and make your submission. I will have a look at it. I will see the progress you're making, and I can accordingly structure all of my classes to teach you better. So make sure to do your submission irrespective of how you have been going ahead and doing. Now let's go ahead and start talking about today's class. Like you all know, today's class is going to be the last class, and it's going to be actually a very important one. In today's class, we're going to be working with multiple still life objects, one next to each other, in order to create a beautiful still life artwork. Now, the reason we're going to go ahead and do this as part of our last class basically is that in the previous few classes, you've gone ahead and learned how to work with all of your objects individually. Now, in today's class, the idea is basically to take all of that individual knowledge, to sort of bring it up together, sum it up, and create a beautiful artwork. And another reason why we're going ahead and doing multiple objects in this class is to kind of go ahead and understand what to do when there are multiple objects next to each other. We know what to do when there are single objects, but what do we do when there are multiple objects? So that's what our focus is going to be in today's class. Now let's go ahead and get started with the list of materials that we need for today's class, and let's go ahead. So the first thing that we need for today's class is going to be obviously a sheet of paper. Always have a good sheet of paper with you. Like I've always been going ahead and telling you, you can go ahead and take a sketchbook, you can go ahead and take a journal book, you can go ahead and take any A4 size sheet of paper, any of that would do, but make sure you have a good sheet of paper with you. The next thing that you need for today's class is going to be a pencil. Like you can see over here, I have a really nice sharp pencil with me. So make sure you have a good pencil like this with you to work with, and also make sure it's nice and dark. If your pencil is going to be dull and not really dark, then your whole picture is not going to look that great. Now let's go ahead and get started with today's drawing. Now today's drawing is going to be a little different from the previous few classes. In the previous few classes, we've always been going ahead and working with doing a miniature, and then we go ahead and do a huge picture of whatever we're working with. But in today's class, we're going to actually go ahead and do the drawing directly as a big picture. Now the reason I'm going ahead and doing this basically is doing a miniature of an objects that are more than two or three makes it really hard for you to go ahead and mark out the dark medium lights. It is too small for you to be able to look at and identify, okay, here. It can get very confusing. So in today's class, we're not going to be working with a miniature. We're directly going to go ahead and draw the big picture at one go. So now this picture that I've gone ahead and selected is going to be a really simple picture. It's a bunch of earthen pots next to each other. You can also call them vases, but I want to refer to them as earthen pots because that was the visualization that I had when I wanted to go ahead and create this piece today. So let's go ahead and start with marking out the first main object. So here I'm going ahead and using the line diagram concept to go ahead and get an idea of what the shape of my vase or my pot is going to look like. So here I've gone ahead and drawn a center line right in the middle. Then I'm going ahead and drawing two sleeping lines. Now this is going to be the frame of my pot or my vase itself, like I mentioned. And you remember, if you've gone ahead and done the last class, that we've gone ahead and practiced this earlier. So this is going to be the first frame part of our main object, which is right at the center. If you've not gone ahead and attended my last class, this concept might look very confusing a little bit, but don't worry, in a second you will make sense out of it. If you haven't attended it, then to give you a couple of pointers, make sure that all of your lines and equals on either side are equidistant. Perfect. Excellent job, everybody. Good, good, good job. Perfect. Very well done. Let's move on to the next step. The next step is going to be to go ahead and draw the curve. So you can see the top portion of it. I'm going ahead and joining. After which I'm going to go ahead and do a curve on the side like so. So this, as you can see, is giving me sort of like a guide in terms of where I'm going ahead and drawing. And then I'm going to go ahead and take that last line and join it right to the end. And as you can see, with those bunch of lines, I have a really, really simple and a nice pot or a vase basically going on. Excellent job, everybody. Very, very well done. If you've gone ahead and made any mistakes at this point of time, go ahead and erase it out, correct it out. I want you to all have a very, very good and neat artwork by the end of this class today. Very, very well done. Perfect. Now what I want you to go ahead and do is I want you to go ahead and draw the opening of this vase. I'm going ahead and just doing sort of like an oval right on top to kind of create the opening. Excellent job, everybody. Now this picture in total is going to have four earthen pots right next to each other. Now this is the main earthen pot that I have, but right next to it on either side I have two, and on my left hand side I have one more that is behind the two pots that are in front. So let's go ahead and draw the next one. What I'm going to go ahead and do here is I'm going to go ahead and basically draw a direct plus. Now this one is basically a circular pot. So going ahead and drawing a plus really helps. Going ahead and drawing a short top line and a short bottom line. Now this, because I said is circular, to kind of get that circular shape, having a plus right at the center really, really helps, because it gives like an equal, angle and a sort of a curve area to kind of get that whole drawing a little more easier and that guide a little bit more easier. Very well done, everybody. Good job. Perfect. Well done. Now we can go ahead and do the curve. As you can see, one curve on this side and one curve on this side. Now to create the opening for this pot, I'm just going to go ahead and draw two straight lines coming on top and then doing the same oval that we went ahead and did with our previous pot. So here you can see this is nice circular pot. This could be sort of like a matka. If you've ever gone to a village, you would have seen that they carry water in this. You also have plastic versions of this now. So that's what we've gone ahead and created right there. Excellent job, everybody. Very, very well done. For the next one, I want to go ahead and do sort of like a shallow bowl of sorts. I don't want to go ahead and create a bowl that we've done earlier. I want it to be sort of like a shallow bowl with sort of like a flat bottom. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do on my right side over here, as you can see. For this, I'm not going ahead and doing any guide because it's really simple to do. I'm starting off with the opening on top first. Then I'm going ahead and doing a side curve, and then I'm drawing a line all the way on this side. Now you must be wondering, why is it that it is not drawn fully, and why is it that we didn't need guidelines? The reason is because I want it to be behind the main pot. So hence you can see I'm not gone ahead and done the whole drawing, and I've also not gone ahead and done the guidelines because it is really simple to go ahead and draw. Excellent job, everybody. You're doing such a wonderful job. Great, great work. Perfect. All right, moving on to the next one, I'm going to go ahead and draw the reference line for this one again. Here I'm going ahead and drawing a straight line, and I'm going ahead and drawing two short lines on top. Now this pot is going to be a pot which is basically straight and then curve on the side. So I'm not going ahead and drawing the center straight line that we normally go ahead and draw, because the thing is it's going to be covered with the bottom pot. So here, you, even if you have guidelines and stuff, you still need to be good and confident with your drawing, because sometimes you may not be able to draw a guideline that easily. So let's go ahead and now complete it. So you can see I'm going ahead and doing curve, curve, and then I'm going ahead and doing a curve on top and top, and then I'm going to go ahead and draw the opening. For the bottom part of it, I'm just going to go ahead and complete it out by drawing sort of like a straight line, making it look like it is a pot like this, or an earthen pot that is like this. Now, here is a very, very important and crucial point of our artwork. Make sure all of this drawing that you've gone ahead and done is done well. You don't have any mistakes, you don't have any errors. Now, we're obviously going to be working with pencils, so you can go ahead and erase it out. It's not that hard, but always make sure to do it as neatly as you can so that you don't have to go ahead and erase it. Very well done. Perfect. Now what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm grabbing myself an eraser and I'm going to go ahead and erase out all of those center lines because it might come in the way of my shading. You can go ahead and do the exact same. Just erase out all of those unnecessary lines that we have right there. Perfect. Very good job. Perfect. Very well done, everybody. All right, so now let's go ahead and discuss out where our light is going to be coming from. In today's class, I'm going to be going ahead and deciding that the light is going to come from my right hand side. Now, like you all know, we've already gone ahead and done many multiple shadings from light coming from either side, whether it's the left side or it's the right side. So it is actually very, very easy to kind of understand and do this. Like you all know, it's not that complicated as it may seem. So let's go ahead and start, imagining or marking out mentally where our dark medium light is going to be sitting. So to give you an example, let's talk about the main pot that we have right here. The dark medium light is going to be sitting in a manner where the right hand side is going to be light, the center portion is going to be medium, and the left hand side is going to be dark. So really, really simple. The concept is it's not really that, hard to imagine. It's not really that hard to understand. And in the same manner, we're going to have it in the rest of the pots, wherein the light is always going to be on the right hand side and the dark is always going to be on the left hand side. So keep that in mind because it's very, very important when you're working with the whole drawing. So now let's go ahead and get started with the shading itself. We're going to go ahead and actually start with the main pot. Now, whenever you're looking at multiple objects like this, you want to go ahead and always start with the one that is right in front. Now, if you're looking at this picture, you will go ahead and realize the one that's right in front is the biggest one. And then after that, we can go ahead and do the circular one. Then we can go ahead and do the half one. And then we can go ahead and do the back one. Now, like I mentioned, it's always going to be the first one that is in front as the first shading piece, and then slowly and so on and so forth, we'll go ahead and shade it. So always make sure to remember that point. So let's go ahead and take our, pencil, and we'll go ahead and do that whole edge dark. Now, like you all know, do your dark tone really, really neatly when you're working with this. You can go ahead and do this in patches, or you can go ahead and do this continuously, whatever works for you. But just make sure you're going ahead and doing a neat job. You're not going outside your line wherever. Now, there are going to be a little bit of changes when it comes to the shading of how you do your pencil shading when you have multiple objects, but the basics of each and every object is not going to go ahead and change. That is, your light, medium, dark of every object is going to be exactly the same as how we've been going ahead and doing it previously. The only things that will change is the concept of how the shadow is falling on any of the objects depending on how we're going ahead and placing each of the objects right next to each other. Now, once you've gone ahead and finished the dark tone, we can go ahead and finish the medium tone. Now, like you all know, medium tone as well, very, very simple. Make sure you go ahead and blend it out with the dark tone and you're not going ahead and doing a dirty job. Always make sure to go ahead and do a neat job. So as you can see, I'm slowly taking my time and doing the medium tone right here. Perfect. As you can see, really simple, really easy. Perfect. Great. Now, once you've gone ahead and finished the medium tone, you can go ahead and do the light tone. Now, here in between, I'm not going to be waiting for you as much because you all have gone ahead and already done several, objects and subjects like this. So go ahead and do it alongside me. You don't really have to watch what I'm doing specifically. You know how to go ahead and do it. So just do it with ease and comfort. Take your time and go ahead and do it, or go ahead and do it faster than me since you've already gone ahead and done this several times. Excellent job, everybody. Very, very well done. Excellent. Good job. Perfect. Great. Since now everybody's gone ahead and finished this up, let's go ahead to the next part of our shading. Like I always tell you, you want to go ahead and create a little bit of shape onto whatever you're going ahead and shading. You don't want to go ahead and make it look like, cramped up. So in this, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and do my curve to curve shading now right here, right at the bottom, to kind of create that little bit of depth that I want to go ahead and create. I'm going to go ahead and do a few curved lines again to kind of create that curviness of the pot. So just going ahead and doing that. And I'm also going to go ahead and add in a little bit of dark right at the top part of my, vase or pot that I have right here. So as you can see, I'm just going ahead and doing the dark portion right here. And then what I'm going to go ahead and do is that center thin bridge that is there of my pot, there as well, I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of dark. Now that part is basically optional for you to go ahead and do. If you feel like you want to go ahead and do it, you can. But if you feel like, no, I don't want to go ahead and do it, it's completely all right. It's basically sort of optional in order to kind of create the illusion of there being a thinner center. But if you feel like, no, I don't want to create that illusion and you're good with this, then it completely works. So I'm just going to wait here for a second in case some of you have to catch up with me, but I can see most of you are doing a wonderful job and are following through extremely well. All of the practice from the previous classes has come to much use. Very, very well done. Perfect. Great. Now let's go ahead and finish up the next spot. For our next spot, we're going to go ahead and do the same exact thing. We're going to start with the dark, then we're going to go to the medium, and then we're going to go to the light. On the top and the bottom, we're going to go ahead and add in a little bit of a darkness in order to create a little bit of that illusion of separateness. That is, the top part is separate, the ground is separate. So you want to create that illusion. So here I'm not going to pause between my dark, medium, and light because all of you know how to do it. There's nothing that that you have to really learn in this part. You just have to go ahead and do it neatly. So you can see I've gone ahead and done dark, then I've gone ahead and done medium, and then I'm going ahead and doing light. Okay, let me wait here for a second, making sure all of you have finished. Excellent job, everybody. So do it neatly, do it slowly. Always take your time in working with this. Sometimes, if you've gone ahead and drawn an object or a subject that's really big, it might be a little hard for you to go ahead and do it, fast. Then that time, take your time. But if you've done a decent size, like I've gone ahead and done, then it won't take you a lot of time to do. Excellent job, everybody. Good job. Perfect. Great. Now let's move on to the next part of it, which is going ahead and doing the curve at the bottom and then the curve at the top. So here you can see I just did the shading a little bit on top and shading a little bit at the bottom and making sure I'm blending it out. Always make sure you're going ahead and doing a neat blend. So take that extra time if you need to go ahead and blend it out. Now that fork or that neck that is there of the bottle, you can go ahead and do dark, medium, light if you're able to. Otherwise, you can just do a direct dark, how we normally do with the rest of our pots. Just going ahead and doing a direct dark works absolutely well. Going ahead and making sure all of you have gone ahead and finished this up. Excellent job, everybody. Very well done. Really happy with your work. Perfect. Perfect. Now, while some of you are still going ahead and finishing that pot, I'm just going to go ahead and start the explanation of the next pot that we're going to be going ahead and doing. So on the right side, the shallow bowl that we have, that's going to be the next part of our shading. Now, if we look at the shallow bowl in its all, let's say we've gone ahead and done the whole drawing of the shallow bowl, then our dark would actually be covered by the pot. And then we would directly have medium tone, and then we would directly have light tone. So technically the visible portion of our piece is just medium and light. But while shading, will we just do medium or light, or will we go ahead and do the whole thing? The answer is we'll actually go ahead and do the whole thing of dark, medium, light, mainly because the front piece is actually creating a shadow for the back piece. That is, the front walls that is there is sort of covering the light for the bottom walls. So what we'll do is we'll kind of create a dark, medium, light again. Firstly, to kind of create the differentiation between the two, and secondly is to create that shadow effect that is basically there. So same exact thing with the shallow one as well, just going ahead and doing our dark, medium, light, dark being on our left and light being on my right. So you can see going ahead and starting out with that. Do it as neatly as you can. You don't want to rush and you don't want to go ahead and make a mistake over here. Take your time in going ahead and doing this. So as you can see, gone ahead and finish my dark, then going ahead and doing my medium, and then finally going ahead and doing my light tone. As you can see, perfect. And I'm making sure that whole thing is blended, and I'm also making sure that my line over there, the line that is touching the big pot, is clean and neat. So you would have noticed I went ahead and did that line out correctly because I wanted to look neat and I wanted to look nice. Now one thing that I want you to notice is your paper might start getting a little dirty. It might start getting a little bit of these kind of patches whenever you're working with a lot of pencil work. So at that point of time, you can go ahead and take an eraser and erase it out. I will be going ahead and doing that once or twice throughout this picture in order to go ahead and keep my sheet neat. So you can go ahead and do it right at the end, or you can go ahead and do it in the middle whenever you like. So whatever you prefer. Now, while you're going ahead and finishing up that bowl, let's talk about the last object that we have that is right at the back. But the object that I have right at the back is going to follow the same technique of dark, medium, light from left to right as usual. But one thing that we're going to go ahead and keep a watch of is that we are not going ahead and doing medium or dark tones right close to the bottom part and the side part. Now, the reason we are going ahead and keeping that distance or that space is in order to not merge the two together. If you go ahead and do directly dark next to another dark, then the two will just merge into each other and you will have no difference between them. So if there is dark on one side of one pot, on the other pot it will be light. If you have light on one pot, then the other side will be dark. So make sure of that. So here you can see I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and take my dark and I'm going ahead and shading that out. Now you can see I'm just going ahead and proceeding to do my light, keeping that distinction of light and a dark between the two. Now in the bottom part, if you see, one side is dark and one side is light. So what do? You create a little bit of a medium tone in order to create a little bit of differentiation. So always create some form of differentiation. It can be opposites or it can just be like medium to light, anything. Just go ahead and always keep sort of like a differentiation. So here you can see I'm going ahead and creating that differentiation between the two and making sure that no two of the sections or the two tones are touching each other. If any two tones end up touching each other, then you won't end up having a very, very nice looking piece. So as you can see, that's looking nice. Here you don't have to go ahead and do it perfectly because shadows again don't fall perfectly. Shadows tend to be a little here and there. So you can also go ahead and do the same. Excellent job, everybody. Very well done. Great. Very happy with your work. Excellent. So since everybody has gone ahead and understood the concept and is doing such a wonderful job, I am very, very happy. I'm really happy that everybody is going ahead and doing it exactly how I want to go ahead and teach you. Very well done. Now, the two remaining bits of this painting is going to be to go ahead and do the tops or the openings of each of the vases or the earthen pots, and finally to go ahead and do the shadows. Now, first we can go ahead and finish the tops of the earthen pot. Here I'm going ahead and just doing a little bit of dark medium light from the top to the bottom, and it's optional for you to go ahead and do so. If you feel like you don't want to go ahead and do it, you don't necessarily have to go ahead and do it, because it will look good either way. I'm just going ahead and doing it in order to create a little bit of depth and dimension to my piece. Perfect. Excellent job, everybody. Very, very well done. Perfect. Excellent, excellent job. Great. All right, now let's move on to doing the shadows. Now the shadows for all of our pieces is going to be on the left hand side of our picture. It's not going to be on the right because the light is coming from the right. So make sure you always do the left hand side over here. So we're going to go ahead and do our shadows according to what I have taught you earlier, which is to go ahead and do the dark medium light from one side to another. Here, you, even if you don't do a dark medium light, it's completely all right. You don't necessarily have to do a complete dark medium light. It will still look good. So here you can see I'm going ahead and doing just a simple shadow for the first one. And here again, I would tell you to go ahead and do it object by object. Don't go ahead and do a shadow continuously for all of them in one shot, because it can get confusing. So here you can see I did one, then I pointed to another and did the second one. Then I will move on to point out the third one, and then I'll do the third one. And then I'll go ahead and point out the fourth one, and I'll do the fourth one. So always make sure you're sort of following that, concept of figuring out first which one, second which one, third which one, fourth which one. Because if you mark that out or understand the concept of it, then it'll make it more easier to go ahead and work with it. And just to finish up the picture, I'm going to go ahead and erase the pencil markings all around. Again, this is optional. If you feel like you want to go ahead and erase it, that's fine. If not, that's also perfectly all right. So here you can see I've gone ahead and finished up the picture. So I can see some of you are still doing your shadows. An excellent job with it. Always do it separately. You don't want to go ahead and do it in one like thing all together. Excellent job, everybody. Very, very well done. Erasing portion, like I mentioned, is always going to be, for you to go ahead and do. If you want to go ahead and do, you don't necessarily have to go ahead and do it. Excellent job. Very, very well done. Perfect, everybody. Very well done. Excellent. Great. Great. All right. So wonderful, wonderful job, everybody. So happy with all of your work. You've done such an amazing and excellent job in today's class, and I am so glad to see you all work so, so well. Now, today is going to be the last class, like I said, of our sketching course, but I'm really proud of all of the work that you've gone ahead and done. Now, a couple of things to keep in mind. You always want to get that certificate, so make sure you're going ahead and attending all of your classes. 2, make sure you're going ahead and doing all of your submissions. 3, make sure you do your submission irrespective of how you're done, whether you think you'll get selected as part of the top 10 or whether you don't think you're going to get selected as part of the top 10. Make sure you always go ahead and do your submissions. Now, apart from that, excellent job, everybody, in today's class. I hope you've learned something amazing from this course, and I have been seeing the results in all of your submissions. So very, very well done. I'll see you guys in the next course that we have, and bye-bye. Have a look at the submission video.
Hi everyone, we are excited to have you here in today's fun-filled learning session at Uolo. Here is a quick look at how you can submit your work after the class. As a first step, go to live.uolo.com. You can use any browser to access this site. On this page, you will see a list of all our classes. Scroll down and you can see the Submit Your Work button. And then you will see a list of the classes that you've last attended, which could, for example, show the dance or craft or science experiment classes you've attended recently. Next, it will show you the list of children whose names are registered in this mobile number. Choose your name from this list to submit your work. For instance, if you are Satvik Kumar, choose that name. And then Choose the class for which you would like to make your submission. For example, if you've attended the New Year's Masquerade Party session and you'd like to make the submission for this class, click on the Submit Your Work button below that and then upload the photo you've taken. Choose the image from your phone and click Submit. You can scroll down and view all your past submissions and see how many of your friends or peers have liked your work. You can also see others' work and like their work to inspire your friends. If you want to showcase your work on social media, that too is very simple. Click on Share, copy the link and post it on Instagram or Facebook or any other platform of your choice. Just a tiny reminder, your submission looks a lot better if you could click a photo in the landscape mode rather than the portrait mode. Do not forget to tag us at Uolo_app